Today we're going to talk about the biggest threat to our health. Hello everyone, Semi-Retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're new to the channel, welcome, I'm glad you're here. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem super exciting, but if you realize that just under 3 years ago, I could barely stand for a couple minutes without severe pain, and now I'm out here walking every day, it becomes just a bit more interesting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. Oh, there's a big smudge over top of the camera. Sorry about that. But I'm 61 years old, almost 62. And I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like out here walking every day. I'm starting up that big hill that I start my walk with. No, it's not a Colorado-sized hill, but it's the best I can do here in Nebraska. But as I pick up the pace, I am going to remind you one more time that if you're adding a new exercise, please do it carefully. Because the last thing you want to do is injure yourself and set yourself back a little bit so that you have to wait 2 or 3 weeks or even longer for that injury to heal before you can get back at it. So I'm not saying don't push. I'm not saying don't add new stuff. I'm just saying do it carefully. I'm about halfway up, a little more than halfway up that big hill. And I'm going to push the pace just a little bit more. Now, a lot of people, carnivore influencers in general, would edit this part of the video out so that you don't hear them huffing and puffing. They want you to have this illusion of them all smiles and happy all the time. And I am smiling and happy because I can do this, but I think it's important for you to see everything, even the spots as I pick up the pace again for this last little bit. I think it's important for you to see that I really can do this. And if I can do it coming from where I was, then you can do it too. Okay, there you see the stop sign at the top of the hill behind me. Now as I catch my breath, we'll head on down here. But yes, the greatest threat to our health, and I'm going to get some people disagreeing with me here because they're going to say, oh, well, it's processed foods or it's seed oils, and both of those are really bad. But I believe the greatest threat to our health as a world is sugar. I'd like you to take a look back at some of the greatest tragedies on Earth. You know, World War I, World War II. I'm not trying to create controversy here, but, you know, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and all of the wars in the Middle East. Add up all of the people that have died in conflicts around the war. Most recently, I don't want to mention the countries, but we all know which one is currently raging. But this isn't about that. If you add up all of the people that have died in those conflicts and add up all of the people that have died in earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and all of that stuff over the last 100 years. But now look at how many people have died of heart disease. How many people have died of diabetes-related things? I think you'll be surprised at the numbers. And that's why, hang on just a second. I had to pause. There was a couple of guys, as they used to do down home in southern Ohio, there's just a pickup truck parked on the wrong side of the street going the wrong way so that the two guys can just stand there and talk. Reminds me of when I was a kid. Sometimes on the way out to the house from town, we'd have to stop and wait a few minutes because there was just a couple of pickup trucks blocking the road so the two guys could talk to each other. Nowadays, people would go insanely crazy if that happened. But it was nothing unusual in the Appalachian Mountains. All of the people that have died of diabetes-related problems, of heart disease, how many people have died in the last 100 years because of sugar? And yet, we as a country and we as a world continue at an alarming rate to just keep pouring sugar into our systems, into our bodies. You and I know the dangers of sugar, but apparently the word hasn't gotten out to the rest of the world because they're still dumping sugar into their body like it doesn't matter. Like that's not the problem. It's genetic or whatever the latest story is from the so-called scientists. Oh, it's the fat. Yeah, it's the saturated fat that's doing it to you. I commented, one of the Facebook groups I follow is Farmers Against Misinformation, and they always put up these posts that they found from the people that eat on the other side of the aisle from us. And the one thing I can agree with those people on is that sugar is the enemy. While I don't agree with how they eat, with all of the plant toxins and the lack of good nutrients for the body, I think it's a dangerous way to go about things. But they also agree. Now, not the Oreo plant-based people. You know, those, oh, well, Oreos are plant-based, so I can eat those. Not that crowd. The real crowd that promotes single ingredient, whole foods. Now, I would argue that things like cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower and beans are not food meant for human consumption. But to each their own. This is not an argument with them. This is my argument against sugar. And isn't it amazing that the one place we agree is sugar? Because I see them, their videos, they use oils. And many of the Oreo crowd use all of the other highly processed stuff, the fake meats and the fake cheeses and the fake eggs and all that kind of stuff. But the true, what I would call good influencers from the other side of the aisle, they talk about the same things I talk about. How bad sugar is for us. And that's why I keep making these videos. Because we've got to get the word out there. Because no matter how many things we change, no matter how many people follow us into the rabbit hole that is the carnivore diet, until the thought that fat is not the problem, but sugar is the problem, we're not going to make a huge dent. But we keep trying, keep pushing forward, trying to get the word out there. But it is a beautiful day for a walk. It's about 39 degrees in Omaha, which is a lot nicer considering there was a blizzard just a couple of days ago. The snow is once again almost completely melted off, which you guys will see, because as soon as I get up here to this shady spot where I can see my camera, I'm going to flip it around and play us some music for the rest of this good walk. I want to get a couple of good walks in before I go to Ohio. You never know what the weather's going to be like there either. And because I'm flying, I'm not going to have my entire arsenal of different clothing with me. Because I'm planning on doing laundry at least once, and I'm just packing one carry-on bag for the week-long trip to Ohio. Because I'm cheap. I didn't want to pay extra for a checked bag. So anyway, I'm in the shade. I'm going to flip the camera around, and I'll see you when we get back to the house. Okay, cut the music. This has nothing to do with carnivore. It's just the retired truck driver in me. I notice bad drivers. It's not like this guy was driving a big four-wheel drive pickup truck like mine that you basically need the entire planet to make a turn in. He was driving just your average little car. And I thought he was trying to talk to me or something, because he slowed way down and pulled all the way over onto my side of the street, facing the wrong way. And then he turned into a driveway across the street, like he needed all that space to make a turn into a driveway. I'm sorry, that's just the retired truck driver in me. I just can't get past really bad drivers. But anyway, you can make the case that processed food is the real problem, because they can contain both sugar and seed oils. And I'm perfectly okay for you to disagree with me on that, but if you look at the timeline, the very worst of the processed food didn't really enter into the equation until 35 or 40 years ago, when the health of the world really started to go downhill. Because our grandmothers used sugar, but it was a treat. It was the occasional thing. But slowly, over the last 70, 80, maybe even 90 years, more and more sugar has found its way into the American diet, which is why I say sugar is the biggest disaster ever to strike the planet. And it's not getting any better, folks. Well, okay, it's about 45% obesity rates, but 87, 88% of the entire population of the United States is showing at least one sign of metabolic dysfunction, if not more. We've got kids as young as 7, 8 years old presenting to their doctor with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Kids as young as 9 and 10 with type 2 diabetes. So it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So I would ask you to share. You don't have to share my videos. Pick your favorite influencer and share one of their videos out to your social media, because it makes a difference. Even if we only reach one person at a time, if that person's health improves, maybe they reach somebody. And before you know it, the movement just keeps spreading. It is Saturday, so don't forget to drop down in the comments. Tell me what your wins are for the week. I always like to hear these because there are always some really good stories. And remember, your win doesn't have to be, I got rid of this drug, or I lost another 20 pounds, or whatever the big stories are. Your win can be, I normally cheat 2 days a week, and this week I only cheated once. That's a big win. We've got to celebrate the wins that happen each and every day, because if all we're focused on is the end goal, we're going to get discouraged and we're going to quit, because the end goal is way out there in the distance. But celebrating each little win along the way can keep you motivated and on track. Hopefully some of what I said today made sense. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.